Good afternoon and welcome back to X-Carbovore. Many of you might be wondering, where did I learn the carnivore diet from? Actually, um, in 2018, when I was in the States, I started the Atkins diet after my grandmother's funeral. Family members were saying I was a little fat. They hadn't seen me in many years because I'd been living here in Sweden. And when I went home, they used to be, they were familiar with my old military build. And I had become a round doughboy. And I hadn't noticed it. But I won't say insults, their observation made it aware to me that I needed to do something. So I started the Atkins diet and I started having really good results. All the food was prepared. I was buying from not Costco. What is that store? Starts with the W, I think, or an M. I'm forgetting. Walmart. Yeah, I. I'm sorry. I do live here in Sweden. I went to Walmart. I was getting all of my food from there, and it was great until I had to make a decision to come. I mean, when I was going to come back home, how was I going to continue this? And so I did my research to see if there was anything uh, Atkins related here. And they had some frozen food things, but nothing like I was eating there. So I decided, okay, I have to do something. How can I cook for myself? And then I came across keto, the ketogenic diet. And that was my gateway, I would say, into carnivore. Well, uh, keto worked for a little while, but it kept giving me cravings. I still had sugar cravings, and that was part of the reason was because of the desserts and the snacks that they would make that would be low carb or with this fake sugar that would still keep me craving the sugar. So I never got rid of the cravings, and it was torture. That was torture. Um, and then my son actually mentioned to me once that he was going to start carnivore. And I said, "What's carnivore?" He said, "Well, you just eat meat." And I said, "You can't live like that. You can't just eat meat." And I started doing research for him, not for me. I just wanted him to be safe. And I started realizing, you know what? This might be something good. So today I want to share with you my list of Avengers in the carnivore world. Who am I following? Why am I following them? What's their background? And then we're going to go over my results from today. So stay with me. I'll see you on the other side. Now, welcome back. This is day 25 of my carnivore journey. I'm so glad that you're here with me. Listen, if you're enjoying my content, please write me a note, hit like, give me a thumbs up, and let me know that I'm doing okay. Maybe I'm inspiring you. Maybe I'm drawing questions from you. And maybe you're not digging what I'm doing. Either way, let me know so that I know what I can shift or make a little better for you. Because this is, yes, my journey, but it's our journey if you're here with me. And I'd like for you to come back every day. Hey, today's show is really because many of my friends have wondered, why and where am I getting all this carnivore information? Why has it made a change in my life? Why am I so steadfast wanting to do this? And how are these changes even possible? Because I'm eating meat, I'm not taking multivitamins, I'm not taking any supplements. Every now and then I'll have an element, which is magnesium, sodium, potassium. I think in this 25-day period, I've had two. Um, and I don't take it often, only if I think that I've been uh, uh, losing a lot of fluid, because at that time, then I know, or if I haven't been taking in enough salt, then maybe I might get cramps. But I have to say, I haven't had any cramps at all. So I'm eating and surviving basically on meat, salt, water, and coffee. I won't show you the coffee this time. We talked about that the other day. So let's talk about some of my heroes. You might hear me talk a lot about feeling like Superman or being afraid of my kryptonite. This is where I get it from because I see these heroes, or some of them are pioneers, but of course they're not the arbiters of the carnivore diet. The carnivore diet has been around for a long time as a ketogenic way, I should say, because the ketogenic type diet, don't forget carnivore falls under the ketogenic umbrella, is for neurological issues, autoimmune issues, a lot of medical issues. People have used this ketogenic diet. So it's not alien, it's not something new. It's just been used medically for medical issues. Now, what they found when they were doing this is that many of their patients not only got better, not only some have even recovered. Now they're using it for type 2 diabetes. They're using it for gout. They're using it for so many issues with the human body. The side effect, though, is weight loss. Now, if you're trying to lose weight, people would do this, and then they take the other things as a benefit: mental clarity, cleaner, fresher skin, no dips after eating, the longevity of energy, all of these other things they look at as side effects, but in reality, that's what the carnivore diet, or most ketogenic diets, which means high fat, moderate protein, low to no carb, okay? That's what we are doing, and it's working well. And for me, as a pastor and as someone who treats my body as the temple of God, the temple of the Holy Spirit, I want my body to last. I want my body to be strong. I want this temple to be able to produce for the kingdom for the time ahead. And one way I found that I can do that is I have to be careful of what I'm putting in this body, this tent that one day will go and pass away. But right now, while I'm here, I want to be strong so that I can do the things that I've been called to do. Let me share with you some of my heroes in the carnivore world. And let's begin with Dr. Ken Berry. He is my first that we're going to discuss now. Now, before I give you Dr. Berry's, I won't say biography, before I introduce him to you, let me say this, that I do follow doctors because they have credibility and they've been studying medicine deeper than I have, and they have practiced this with their patients, but they're not the only ones that I follow. And so you're going to see a wide variety of physicians and non-physicians that I follow online, and I get the majority of my information from outside of my own self-study. So let's begin with Dr. Ken Berry. So Dr. Berry is a dedicated family physician, and he's practicing in the state of Tennessee in the United States. For over 2 decades, he's been committed to helping patients overcome obesity, insulin resistance, and type 2 diabetes. How does he do that? With the carnivore diet. His mission is to empower you with knowledge through the tools to reclaim your health through the proper human diet. Now, you might hear me say proper human diet quite often. This came from Dr. Berry. And what does he mean when he says that? He means the proper human diet was our ancestral diet, how our ancestors would eat. And they would eat meat, and they would drink water, and they'd eat salt. And in between, they'd fast until the next meal. They'd eat fatty meat in order to survive. And that's how they lived. And in his research that he's doing, not only him, but a few other physicians, they're looking at other areas of the world today that are primarily eating meat or fish without any of the carbohydrates, and they're looking at their histories and they're realizing they don't have what the Western people have as ailments. You're not having coronary artery disease. You're not having type 2 diabetes. There are things that are consistent in what he's finding in the way that we eat our meals. Join him, and you can see that he has his, or I put on his YouTube channel. So you can also follow him. He's one of my Avengers. And I like to give a big shout out to him because I listen to him probably more than all of the others at this stage. But Dr. Ken Berry, find him at Ken D. Berry, MD. Our next Avenger is Dr. Eric Westman. Dr. Westman is an associate professor at Duke University, and he specializes in obesity medicine and internal medicine. On his channel, you're going to find so much support for the low carb, high fat diets like ketogenic diets or carnivore diets. And he's going to give you more of a holistic view, I should say, a way of living, but he's focused in on that low carbohydrates. He's written many books, actually, and he's the co-founder of Adapt Your Life. And that's an education and product company based on low carb concepts. So you can find him on YouTube at Adapt Your Life. Another doctor we're going to talk about, who I follow diligently, his name is Dr. Sten Ekberg. And Dr. Sten Ekberg, and that's his real name in Swedish, Ekberg, he was an Olympian. And he's actually born here in Sweden, but he lives right now in the United States. Dr. Sten, we'll just call him Sten, so it'd be easy for you guys, was a decathlon athlete in the 1992 Summer Olympics for Sweden, and a Swedish decathlete, national record holder. Dr. Ekberg currently resides in the United States, where he works as a chiropractor in his office, Wellness for Life in Cummings, Georgia. And he's a holistic doctor. So he's not a carnivore. I won't say that he's not a carnivore. He lives a low carb life, and he talks about every part of nutrition you could imagine. So keep in mind, he's an ex-athlete, still an athlete. He's about my age, I think a year or so younger than I am. And he has great knowledge and information. And that's why I use these guys as my go-to, because they have information that I can never have alone. And the moment you think that you know it all, that's when you really lost the game. You have to be able to go to some source of information that would give you knowledge. These are the guys that feed me the carnivore knowledge and the low carbohydrate knowledge that I need in order. And they've actually convinced me, more than convinced me. I'm sold on this way of living. Next is Dr. Shawn Baker. Right now, I'm reading Dr. Shawn Baker's book on the carnivore diet. Excellent book. Actually, you can download it for free if you just look it up on Google. Look it up on Google, get the PDF version, download it for free, and it's worth the read. It's under 300 pages, I think like 296 pages or something like that. You get a history on his life and how he went into the carnivore way of living. He's also another athlete. He's an orthopedic surgeon, a world-leading authority on treating disease with medical nutrition therapy. Amazon bestseller, told you about that, The Carnivore Diet, and a world champion athlete who does international speakings, podcasts, and so on. So he's a doctor, an athlete, a father, a proponent of regarding health with nutrition therapy. And these are the doctors that are changing the way medicine is done. We've always said that food can be your medicine or food can be your poison. And these are the doctors especially Dr. Baker here, who is pushing that food becomes your medicine. Actually, anyone that's doing the carnivore diet or a ketogenic diet is starting to realize that food is a medical treatment, and how you treat your body is how your body's gonna treat you. All right, and the next Avenger is Dr. Anthony Shafee. Now, Dr. Shafee is an American medical doctor and a neurosurgeon. He works currently in Australia. He's an ex-rugby player, and he's a proponent for the carnivore diet. He's been doing the carnivore diet for God knows how long. And when you check out his channel, the thing is, he's another athlete, no Olympiad, but an athlete, a physician who promotes and defends the carnivore diet. Check him out on YouTube at Anthony Shafee, MD. All right, so finally we've come to a non-physician. Her name is Steak and Butter Gal. Actually, her real name is Isabella Ma. Now, Isabella is a Juilliard-trained pianist and violinist. She really plays beautifully if you watched her channel. She was a vegan, I think, for more than 10 years. And because of all the problems that veganism brought her, irregular period, actually no period, I think she said, for a period of years, and other issues, loss of hair, bad skin, all of these things started happening to her. She decided to go carnivore, I think 6 years ago. And all those problems went away. She started being routine again in her menstrual cycle, and skin cleared up. She's living her best life right now. She has a channel that I follow because she brings out how to live the carnivore life, how to prepare your meals, how to eat. And I mean, she interviews some of the best people around you could imagine, but she is one of those that I listen to and I take information from and I pass it on. So the Steak and Butter Gal, #1 Avenger. And lastly on my list of Avengers, we have Dave Mack, or better known as No Carb Life. Now, why did I say zero? Because his handle for his YouTube channel is at Zero Carb. He is, well, let's read it here. A Scottish-born Australian that lives in Japan, and he started the carnivore diet in 2022. Now, I used to watch him back then when he did just his updates and giving you information on the carnivore diet, but then he shifted. He started interviewing people from around the world who are doing the carnivore diet. And he began to interview them and listen to their struggles, their ups, their downs, their positives, their negatives. And he's doing like I won't say a vlog, but it's a digital record of thousands of people, because he's interviewing 10 to 20 people every week on his channel. And you'll see people of every walk of life, doctors, nurses, engineers, pastors, people like you and me, who are doing the carnivore diet, and some of every which way. Some are very strict, some are not so strict, but they're having success. And so he shares their stories, or I should say, allows them to share their story on his channel. So these are the Avengers that I listen to. And as I said, Dave Mack's YouTube channel is at Zero Carb. Check him out. You're going to learn so much, and take time to listen to some of these stories if you're interested in eating the carnivore way. I have some of the best informers and some of the best knowledge-based people in my Avengers group. So check them out. Now, let's get to my numbers for today. I should be ashamed of myself. I started recording that with the camera still at the wrong angle. Nonetheless, let's hop right into my very first report of my number, and that is my blood pressure. Now, I am a hypertensive 3 or grade 3 hypertensive person, which means my blood pressure has been up to 220 over 110, so much so that the physicians gave me medication for it. I took myself off the medication in May as I began to get deeper into the carnivore diet. That is one of the ailments that many carnivores have seen reverse. And I'm believing so much in it that I took it upon myself to do that. Now, I'm going to see my doctor again. I see them more than annually, maybe biannually, for my blood pressure. So I'm expecting to see them again in January or February when they call me back. And I'm hoping when I get back, my blood pressure is like super and I don't freak out in the office just because I'm in their presence. Sometimes I have the white coat syndrome where my blood pressure shoots up just because I see them coming with the blood pressure monitor. Today, my blood pressure is at a wonderful number, and that number is 120 over 81. Great. Keto approved, carnivore made. Next, let's look at my glucose. My glucose, I like to keep it 5 and below. A normal glucose is 4.6 to 6 millimoles per liter. My glucose today is 5.1, and I am super, super pleased. As we look at my ketones, a normal ketone range is 0.5 to 1.5. I like to keep mine in the 2 range, a little higher than 2. Today, my ketones are 2.6, and that is definitely carnivore approved. And as you know, my GKI, which is the combination between my ketones or my glucose ketone index, I like to keep that 3 and below. Today, my GKI is 1.9. And once again, I can't be anything but grateful to the carnivore diet for making this possible. Now, when I say that, don't get me wrong. I know that God is above everything. Amen. And this has only happened because the Lord has been gracious to me and is allowing me to gain the knowledge and the wisdom to take care of myself. Let's look at the number that really means the least to me, but today it means so much. As you know, we have been at a plateau on my weight, and my weight is not the reason that I'm doing carnivore, but it would be nice to watch this thing move finally. So yesterday I was at, I think, 89.9 or 89.8. Today I'm finally at 89.3. That's half a kilogram, which is great. That's a little bit more than a pound overnight. So maybe I've broken the plateau that I was in. But we'll see. We'll see. So again, my weight today, 89.3. And with that, I want to thank you for watching and joining me today. I hope it's been interesting for you. And I hope you're getting some new knowledge, new information, good entertainment, and good company from me, your friend Tien. Listen, if you're enjoying it, please hit the like button. Subscribe, share it with your friends. Tell them that there's a guy like me here doing a thing like this. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow.